I think a lot of people that have that mentality though, Tom, they're just scared. They don't know what to do, and they're caught between hey, I've used my 401k for the last X amount of years to get to where I am. In Houston, Texas, where we're based, we have a lot of people that work at the big oil companies. They bought oil stock along the way. They don't want to sell that oil stock. They won't spend the money because they're scared to. And it's just interesting to me. And I think we've got a retirement crisis in America to where people are undersaved, right? They haven't saved enough, and they're scared to spend money. And the other thing that we have a crisis with is I think we're down to like 11% of companies in America now that offer pensions.
Yeah, I think it's 9. I think it's even lower than that, 9%. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that, every single person that's watching our podcast right now has the ability to create their very own personal pension plan. It's not hard to do. You just have to take the blinders off and get educated about what's out there and available to you, right? And so an annuity is a great way to invest an amount of money into a program that allows you to have guaranteed income for life and create your very own personal pension plan. It's a great tool, right? Now, you mentioned the other aspect, right? So, and you cash value life insurance. Let's spend a few minutes on that, right? And I know we're kind of digressing here a little bit, but I'm a big fan of cash value life insurance. I have policies on myself. I have policies on my children. I overfund them. And you just mentioned you just got through funding one.
Yep.
Would you mind sharing your age today?
In 3 days I turned 64. I'm 63 right now.
So you're 63 buying life insurance.
Well, so what I did was when I was 50, I took my retirement from New York Life and I bought a $5 million term policy at the time because I didn't know how my business would go. I mean, starting a brand new business, I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
And then, but it had an original age term conversion. So when I was 55, I was able to convert it as if I was 50. I had to make up those 5 years of premium. So I had to pay about $1 million up front to get in there. But then I did that. And now when I was 62, I finished it. And I'm so glad. But all my premiums are in there, plus dividends are in there, and now it just keeps growing. You see, whole life is like a freight train. It starts out really slow, choo, 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 but then it gets going, choo, 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 and once it's going, you can't stop it. Nothing will stop that policy. That thing's just going to keep growing, and I can take money out of there tax-free. When I die, it goes to my family tax-free. I mean, and it's protected from creditors, which is very important. I just think too many wealthy people forget about protecting their assets. You got to protect and then distribute.
So a lot of people are in this mindset of leaving behind IRAs, right? Because if you look at the amount of money people have saved, predominantly the savings vehicle has been the 401k since, it is introduced to the Internal Revenue Code back in 1978. And then, if a lot of people take their pensions in lump sums and roll them over to IRAs. So we have the largest asset we have in so many cases, but it's in this tax infested retirement account, right? And so why is life insurance a better way to pass money to your beneficiaries and your heirs instead of an IRA account?
Please don't leave your IRA and 401k to your kids. Your kids will not be happy. They won't even give probably 50 cents on the dollar. I mean, that's the worst money to leave. So what I've found is one of the reasons many people are not fully enjoying their retirements is they think they got to leave some money to their kids. Oh, we got to leave some money to Johnny and Susie. We got to leave some money to Johnny and Susie. And I tell people, you're not supposed to leave kids any money. You're supposed to spend all of your money, leave them life insurance. And I use me as an example because we have 4 kids. So one day we're sitting around saying, how much should we leave the kids? And my wife said, I don't know. What do you think? I said, well, if we bought a $1 million second to die life insurance policy, name the 4 kids a beneficiary, when we're both gone, they're going to get $1 million tax-free. That's $250,000 a piece tax-free plus whatever's left over. I said, let's start there. So we bought a $1 million second to die life insurance policy, name the 4 kids a beneficiary. That policy is completely paid up. Do you know what the total cost of that $1 million policy was? $150,000. So now think about that. For 15 cents on the dollar, we get to leave them $1 million tax-free. But here's the best part. Who gets to spend the other $850,000 that we do? We do. So we can leave them $1 million for $150,000. And I think if people understood that, why would you leave them your IRA and 401k, which is the worst money to leave them because they're not even probably going to get 50 cents on the dollar. We're $36 trillion in debt. We have $229 trillion of unfunded obligation for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, government pensions, military pensions. I know Trump's cutting taxes temporarily, but eventually they're going to have to go up a lot. And that's why I've moved that money to cash value life insurance. I've converted all of my IRAs and 401ks to Roth. And I'll tell you where I made a mistake. I was 63 years of age and I converted about $1 million into Roth, which means I owe $400,000 in taxes, which I expected and I planned for that. Here's what I didn't expect. When I'm 65, I have to file for Medicare. And what Medicare does is they look at my income when I was 63 and I'm in this business. Okay. I never even thought that when I'm 63, what I do could affect my Medicare. So now I'm going to be in that highest IRMA bracket for a year or two. I mean, it's just crazy how the federal government will get you, but they'll get your kids too if you try to leave them near 401k and IRA.
Well, what's crazy, Tom, is that, my dad has done well. He's an airline pilot, actually retired this week, by the way, at age 65, a heck of a career, celebrating him this weekend in his career in aviation. But dad's done well, but all of his money is in IRAs. And, my dad's the kind of guy, he's from a Jewish family up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And he's the kind of guy where if he grabs a quarter, he can turn it into $1 in a matter of seconds, right? It's just who he is. And I've told him, I said, Dad, listen, I'm quite certain that whatever you have is going to come my way at some point in time. So what we're going to start doing here is we're going to start doing Roth IRA conversions, and I'm going to pay the taxes. And he's like, well, why would you pay the taxes on the money that I'm converting over to Roth IRA? I'm like, well, Dad, let me show you the math here. And I showed him the math. He's like, well, son, I don't want that much of my money going to the government, whether I'm dead or alive. And it's astonishing. And, we had the Secure Act, and I call the Secure Act the Setting Americans Up for Taxation Act, because that's really what it was. All right. It was nothing to do with securing retirement. It was setting up Americans for taxation, because what happened is they pushed out the R&B age. But they, as you know, and then what they did is they gave your beneficiaries 10 years to liquidate an IRA. And to me, Tom, that makes a big case to say, wait a second, especially now that's here. If I want to leave my kids money, I should absolutely consider using my annuities, my IRAs to buy annuities and spend those down and take my after-tax dollars and buy life insurance and apply leverage and leave my kids a tax-free death benefit. What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's right. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I've converted all of my I don't have any more IRAs or 401ks. Okay. And I did that on purpose. And I moved, and by the way, most of my annuities are Roth IRA annuities. So that I get tax-free income for the rest of my life, and I'll get tax-free income out of my life insurance. So I've been trying to position myself to get as much real tax-free, not tax-free bonds, because tax-free bonds aren't tax-free. All that interest counts towards the taxation of Social Security and your provisional income. So I mean real tax-free stuff, life insurance and Roth IRAs. That's where I got the majority of my wealth.
Subscribe to Redefine Retirement on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.